Okay, I'll start over. So we're gonna be going over Deforum, which we couldn't go through for our second tutorial, for our second workshop, which is our first tutorial, rather, in the series. And so we're just going to run that. I went over the parameters really briefly, and I'm going to go over them again just now. So we have the models path, the config path, the output path. These all are stuff that you probably won't need to touch until you have to bring your own models into the notebook and use them. And if you're using Google Drive, these will be the paths, basically the folders and where they are in your computer. Then we have the model setup. This is where you choose the kind of model that you want to use. So we're going to be using version 1 of Stable Diffusion. So model config, we're going to keep it the same. Map location basically says what device you want your models to run on, and we're going to say CUDA, which just means GPU. And the checkpoint, there are some checkpoints that are already given. You can download more from civitai.com and then bring them in. I'm not going to show this because sometimes there's NSFW stuff in there. Okay, good. It's not like that. Then custom config path and custom checkpoint path is when you already have a model that's in your Google Drive and you want to read from that. And you can do that as well, which you will download from Civitai and just put the file in your Google Drive, and then you just give the path. And to get the path of any object, you just choose the object and click on the 3 dots, and then you have copy path, and then you can put the path in either of these fields. So in settings, we have two main kinds of settings. We have motion parameters for how your camera is going to be moving in space, and then we have model parameters, which decides how you denoise and diffuse and do all sorts of operations with your model. But you don't need to worry about either a lot because they're actually very simple. We're going to use animation 2D just now, and then animation 3D has 6 different degrees of freedom. So how you want to move, like forward, backwards, left and right, up and down, and rotation if you want to turn left, turn right, which this is turn left, turn right because it's around the y-axis. This is up and down, and this is around, so basically a barrel roll. And these things you can ignore. They're pretty much, except for these 3. These you can ignore. The perspective flips, the hybrid compositions you can ignore. The noise schedule, sometimes if you increase it, you might get better results. The strength basically says how much of the original image do you want in your animation. So every time we have the previous image, we're going to add 35% noise, and then we're going to denoise that. This is what this means. And then contrast schedule, you can also ignore that. Keep it at 1. These you don't need to touch any of these. 3D warping, if you increase your field of view, you're going to have a smaller depth, so it's going to seem more flat if you're doing 3D. If you decrease it, it's going to feel it warps more, so it's as if you're very close to the objects. And minus weight basically decides how much depth you want to add in terms of how much contrast you want to be in your image, and how much that's going to count for. You can play around with this and see the effects. So let's see if this is loaded yet. Okay, so setting up the environment. You guys are super encouraged to go ahead and go to this link that I put in tools and follow along. Should be the first one here. So you basically run the first one, second one, third one, and the fourth one, take this translation X, turn it to 0 in case if you ever want to do 3D, and then zoom, you can keep it the same. And since you might want to keep your configurations later on every time you do a run, I suggest you go into File and you save a copy in your drive. This will basically allow you to keep your own copy, and then every time you come, these paths will be the same. They're not going to change. Your model is going to be the same, and if you have any prompts, they will remain.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi.
I just have a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just popped in. But what's the difference with the tutorial that we had before the break? Is it just because the
this one didn't work.
database is working?
Yeah, the database is working now. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just gonna do a little
Yeah.
Thing together after.
Okay, so we're doing what we what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Last time, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thanks.
just for this, and then I'm going to talk about interpolation and upscaling. Basically, when you make an animation, you want to increase the resolution of the image and make it smooth. And this notebook just does just that. And I'm going to go over it really quickly. Super simple to use, way simpler than Deforum or PyTTI.
Okay.
And then I'm going to show you, if you have a GPU or a local machine, how you can run these notebooks on your local machine.
I don't have a GPU. So.
Okay, anyone else here does anyone here have a GPU right now? No? Okay. Well, I might not go over that. I might just record something for that and then post it if it's just going to be us. Okay. So these are the prompts as I went over last time. So for prompts, I suggest a 3-part scheme. First, you go with your style. Let's say oil painting or papier-mâché, I think, or photorealistic or 4K. These are all prefixes which you can use in your prompts. Oops, I should have run that. Then after your style, so first you have style, then you're gonna have your objects, your subjects, and then you're gonna have artists. And it's good to have a background here as well. This will be your a very solid way of prompting these things. So we're just going to keep it at that and see when it runs. And I'm here to troubleshoot. Now let's go over these. So you have your image settings, width and height. This basically increases or decreases the resolution of your depth model. If it's higher, you're going to have better depth and better quality, but it's going to be more expensive to store, so you might run out of VRAM. Otherwise, just keep it at 8. You don't need to touch it. Steps, you're going to want to turn it down. 50 is too high. Scale, keep it between 7 and 12, which is a CFG, which defines how much we're going to adhere to the text. The number of batch and number of samples is for when you want to do multiple renders at the same time. So you want to get a few animations with the same prompts, and you want to see how they go and choose the best one. So the number of samples means if you do 5 and batch of 1, it's going to do one video after another 5 times. If you do batch of, let's say, 2 and the sample of 1, it's going to do 2 videos at the same time. So the more you increase the batches, the more it's going to need RAM to do it, VRAM, and you can see how much VRAM you have available here. So it's not written right now, but a T4 has, I think, 16 gigabytes or 12. I'm not sure, which is enough. Yeah.
Where do we see that? It's a tab that we have to open?
Yeah. So
it's like a header.
Yeah, top right. You're gonna when you connect to the. I think I have a little bug here. Yeah,
okay.
So top right over here,
right.
When you start your runtime,
right.
you're gonna have it. You're welcome. And also you can check it over here. So there's a code block right here, NVIDIA GPU. If you run that, it's going to show you automatically. Actually, maybe I'll just restart the runtime, because I already did restart the process, which for some reason took too long. Okay, yeah, you can see it has 16 gigabytes.
Okay.
Then we have init settings. So let's say you want to create an image, or you already have an image, and you want to start with that as you're going to zoom into your animation or move
That
left and right.
that didn't work last time, right?
Yeah, this whole thing didn't work last time because of the hugging face crash. Yeah. So then you can just give it a URL, or you can give it a path at where init's image is, and then you set the strength, basically how much strength you want your image to have.
It's maybe a dumb question.
Yeah, no questions. Don't worry
could
about
it be? It's such a teacher phrase. Can it be like a path to, like our own directory, like to a file that we have, or not?
that you have over here. So if it's in your drive, or if it's in your files
I
here.
didn't link my drive.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're mounting your drive, you're gonna have access to that, and if you want to throw a file, you can just throw it there. But most of the time, you might just create an image with, let's say, stable cascade, and let's see how you do it. You can just do copy image address, and then just pass it there.
Could you explain why we need to mount a drive, and like, is it like, because I saw that like when I tried to do it last time, it asked for a Google Drive, but does it have to be like a?
It doesn't have to be. If you turn this off, you won't have to mount your drive. The thing is, if you're using Colab free, there's a possibility that Google might just kick you out of the server. Like, it's not entirely reliable. Like, it kicks you out after like maybe an hour or maybe less. So one thing that Google Drive does is that it helps you restore your files. If you're doing an animation and you've done like, let's say 100 frames, and then for the 101st frame, your Google crashes, then you can just go back, mount, and pick up where you left off.
Can it be a hard drive? Like just something local?
So something local, if you want to do local, your compute also becomes local. So you might have to use your own GPU if you have it. Yeah.
Which I don't have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I should use Google Drive, right?
Yeah. You can also get Colab Pro. They give you about 300 hours on a. Is this a high RAM system? I don't know why it's computing because I have 2 sessions. Basically, it gives you a certain number of credits that you can then run on, and it's 300. It's enough for most cases.
Okay. So I just like have to sign up, and it'll give me like some sort of online drive, which I can link to this.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, no. Your online drive would be your Google Drive. That doesn't change. But it gives you access to computers with powerful GPUs, which can then run these algorithms. So it's sort of an
online GPU.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry, I don't know anything about.
No, please. Like a lot of people might not know, so that's great that you're asking that.
Okay.
Yeah. So where was I? There. Okay. Batch name. That's also, I forgot to talk about this. Yeah, I skipped this whole part after that. Batch name. You choose basically the folder where, this specific run is going to be stored. File name format. Don't touch that. Seed behavior. Iter means like every time you go and you rerun this, it's going to start off with the next seed. And the only point of a seed is if they're the same, you're going to get the same animation. That's basically just the whole point. You can ignore the make grid and grid rows. That's for if you want to do like multiple, like a number of batches are going to be 2 or more. It will show you the images like in a grid, basically. In its noise, you can play with that. The same principle as before, but it just adds a little bit of noise to the first image that you're giving it. These are for masks, so if you have an image or a video and you've masked out a person and you want to only animate that, this is what it's used for. Again, this is not a good tool for video. It's kind of deprecated for that. These are conditional settings. You don't need to bother with them. You can play around with them definitely, but for a first use case, just leave them be, all of it. So that's it basically. Let's see if we got anything. It's almost over. So could you guys help me come up with a prompt for this? Let me see.
I'm still dealing with the
What is
linking my Google Drive.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I have to allow? Like, cause
There will be a
allow something I
pop-up.
don't need to. Yeah.
Yeah, there will be a pop-up, and the only thing it does is that it brings your whole folder structure here. Then you do what you want with it. No code is going to be run unless you run it yourself in this notebook. So from a security standpoint,
it brings
safe.
me to like a. Okay.
It will give you a pop-up, and then you just choose your Google account, and once you do, it's going to ask me like, hey, are you okay with like Colab accessing your files? You're gonna be like, sure, and then you will see.
That's the part I was just. I didn't know if.
Yeah, it's coming up. You're gonna.
Sure. Okay.
You're gonna see it, and there's like for security concerns, unless you don't know what code you're running, this is approved. This is a code that I've written part of it. I've been through it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're running some random person's code that you got off 4chan, but don't mount your drive.
I mean, anything from 4chan.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome.
Prompt. Yes.
Let's see if.
Jade, do you want it? Because I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Sorry, I'm just a bit sick, so I'm listening. But yeah, I try to follow. I'll type in the chat if they have questions.
Okay. Just give a voice heads up because I can't see the chat, and then I can read your question.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. So while this is running, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about interpolation and how this works. Same principle. This is actually a very simple notebook. You only need to run it once. And I turned off that runtime so you can see it from the very, very beginning. So suppose you've made an animation like we did last class with PyTTI or with Deforum. Now you want to smoothen it, and you want to increase the resolution because the GPU can only take so much. So you come here, you start your runtime, you connect over up top right here. You can check your GPU, make sure you have a GPU that has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, which you can see here. And we see it does. It's a T4, great, that works. And then this is basically what comes up when you wanna sign up, when you wanna mount your drive. Once you run that cell, you're gonna get that. Choose, continue, yes, continue. Okay, and we're gonna see while it mounts what it does. Alright, so you can see we have the drive folder here. It's mounted, and I have PyTTI test where the other software is, and in here, in videos, I've rendered some videos, and I have this something.mp4. I'm just gonna.
Should I have PyTTI?
If you did the last workshop, then probably.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like mount the drive, so
you didn't mount the drive.
Lost, I guess.
Okay. Well, if you mount the drive, so this is how it works. If you have, if you had mounted the drive, you're gonna have it here. If you hadn't, and you've kind of you downloaded your file on your computer, you can.
I was struggling so much, I didn't even get a file. I just like hopped on someone else's computer.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go over it again if you want, and I'll explain.
Okay.
So if you had mounted the drive, you're gonna have it here.
Mhm.
If not, you can turn this import MP4 file off. No, actually, you don't need to do that. Sorry. You just drag and drop your MP4, whatever it may be. You can run
To
this.
like upload to
Yeah,
the drive?
you just drag it and drop it over here, and it's
Okay.
going to appear somewhere outside, like at the very root of the folder, not in your drive. You just do the same thing. You find it, and then once you do, you press these three dots, and then you do copy path, and then you basically paste it here.
I see. So that's how you could get your own file to be the
Yeah,
in it.
exactly.
Okay, cool.
Then it already has an output folder for you that it sets up. It says it's going to go into AI animation kit videos. So once you run this, it's going to go here, AI animation kit videos. And right now it has.
Sorry, in which notebook are you right now?
This is, I haven't sent this. Sorry. That is my fault. Because I was looking for a good notebook until like 5 minutes before we started. And
what exactly are notebooks? It's like added tabs or sort of sections to the code, or
sorry, can you ask that again? I didn't catch the first part of your question.
I'm just asking what exactly is a notebook? It's like an added tab or a section in the code, right?
A notebook is just chunks of code. So if you open these, you're gonna see code, right? And you're just gonna run them in chunks instead of running them all at once. Usually when you code, you write a whole program and then you compile it, and then you have to run the entire program. But this basically lets you write small bits of a program and then run them independently.
So do you know how? Like, how do I add it to my original?
Add it to your what?
Like, I have my other Deforum tab open where I've been, playing with the settings.
Oh, okay. Don't run this while this is running. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're using FreeColab, if you can only run one at a time.
Okay, but how do I add the notebook to the other?
So you could add it, technically.
But it's not the point. Oh no, it's because
just use them separately. That's what
is this like for interpolation?
This is for interpolation and upscaling.
Oh yeah, so it'll be afterwards anyways. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
After you do your animations, then you run this notebook.
Thanks.
So yeah, I put the import file over here, the file path that I just got over there. By finding it, clicking on the other settings button, and then copy path, and then paste the path. That's it. The rest, okay, so output settings is, so in interpolation, let's say your video has 12 frames per second. And that's kind of not smooth, it's kind of slow, and it's like only 5 seconds. We want to make it 60 frames per second, so we want it to be super smooth, that runs on a TV like at maximum refresh rate, and we want it to be twice as long, so we can like slow it down. So it kind of has a slow motion effect. And so yeah, I set my target FPS at 60, I set my length at 10. It's good to know what your length is, so you usually double it or don't do anything to it. Same goes with frames per second. It should be like it's not good to have it at 59, 60, 30, or 15 or 12. These are the options you should stick with. Never go over or under.
What was it?
15? 12 frames per second. If you have a lot of change in between your frames, go with 12. If you have less change, you go with 15. If your motion is kind of smooth and you can see that between frames there's not that much changes, 30 frames per second is good. And if you want to post it on Instagram, still keep it at 30, because more than 30, Instagram will just bring it back. TikTok does up to 60.
Should I put that somewhere, like in the chat, or?
Sure. Yeah. That would be good.
I don't know where.
Just let me show you. So yeah, you can put in open resource, or you can put it in the chat of the voice, but don't do that. Yeah, resource so that it stays. Better idea.
Okay, so PS rates. 12,
15,
15, 30,
and 24.
60?
And 24.
24.
Yeah, 24, 30, 60.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the ideal frames per second you're going to go for. Then there's upscale models. So there's like 3 models to choose from here. So this times 4 takes your image and scales it 4 times. So if you want to have full HD, and let's say you want to post it with something on Instagram or something like that, and if you put more than full HD, again, they'll bring it back and it will lower the quality of your video. So you do 1920, which is the width or the maximum, and then you divide it by 4. You're gonna get 480, and 1080 divided by 4, 270. So that means your animation should be some like that size, but don't do that. Again, not a good idea. Best thing to do is to divide by half. So do half the resolution when you're creating the animation. There you go, finally. Google Drive, sorry. I'm gonna mount my drive and it's gonna run everything else. Yeah. So if you're creating an animation, your width or your height, depending on what if you want it for widescreen use or portrait phone use, it will be 540. Let me put 540 here, sorry.
It says that the stream is over.
What is it?
It says the stream is over for some reason. Or
That's
maybe
weird. Oh, you're not seeing my screen?
Yeah, just now.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Alright.
So wait, the upscale thing is like to adapt the original animation you had to another dimension.
So you want to increase the resolution, the number of pixels that it has information for.
Right.
So here, if I do, what was it? 1080 divided by 2, 540. And I'm doing it for phone. And for width, let's say 19. So 960. And there's another constraint that these should be multiples of 64. So each will probably fall back to 532. Which is a multiple of 64.
Okay,
Let's come up with a prompt. What is
not in the interpolation notebook anymore?
No, I'm not. I can run them both, but you guys don't.
No, okay, because I was still in there, so I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't
sorry.
know
Yeah,
where it was.
My bad. I should have been clear when switching.
So it's in like image setting with load settings. Is that it?
Yeah, image settings. So I just set my width and height so that over here, when I want to upscale, I just do times 2, and I get full HD resolution.
Okay. So here.
This is a slider for the quality. Lower is better, type of thing. Don't think about it too much. It's gonna have a bigger size if you lower it. It's gonna have a higher quality. If you higher it, it's gonna have a lower quality but a lower file size. So best keep it at like 25 to 30. And this you don't need to touch. This is a face enhance. So if you have faces in your animation or in your videos, you can turn this on. Sometimes it's weird and it kind of like smooths things out where they shouldn't be. So I don't like to use it either way. And so there's upscaling and right smoothing, and you can choose to skip them if you want. We're gonna do both. Okay, this one ran. Let's write a prompt together. Any suggestions following this scheme?
In the original file?
Yeah.
Original, okay.
In Deforum. So this is called Deforum. That is called Animation Kit.
Okay.
Yeah. In Deforum, we're gonna come up with a prompt. Now I want to come up with. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do an example. I want an oil painting of a beautiful sunset. Okay. By what is some Um, what are some impressionist artists that we could name? Impressionist.
Manet?
Yeah, Monet. We can do Monet. And we can mix artists. So let's say Monet and Van Gogh. Negative prompt, we're just gonna leave it empty for now. So it's stuff you don't want. So usually ugly, compressed, and bad quality are nice. So we're just gonna choose that. Width and height, we already did it so that we can get a full HD result. Batch name, we're gonna call it GenAI Tutorial 1. And yeah, everything else we've already set. And we're gonna use an init. Let's make an init here. And let's call it beautiful impressionist photo painting of a beautiful sunset. Has a notebook loaded for you
Very
guys?
beautiful. Sorry?
Sorry, what did you say before?
Oh no, it was just a joke. I said it's gonna be beautiful because
Cause
beautiful.
yeah. Apparently it means something. Actually, you know, if when you write beautiful, you're gonna get better results most of the time. All right.
What did you ask about the notebook?
I forgot. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. So I just came here. Right click, copy image. I asked you if you managed to run it. If the environment is set up for you.
I haven't tried because I still haven't linked to the online GPU thing, so.
Okay, you're not connected here. You don't want to run out of credits or something.
I don't think how do I check if I'm connected?
So top right, if it has a check mark and it has
Oh yeah.
this thing, that means you're connected.
Okay then.
And if you're connected, did you run the cell?
Okay. Which
the
cell?
setup.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, run this cell and then one after the other. And if you run into any errors, let me know. So yeah, we already chose that. We chose the image, and actually I'm gonna do 532 by 532, or maybe even 512 by 512. The reason I'm doing it like this in square because it's gonna be faster when it's generating. And I don't want to take too much time. So yeah, it should basically start. If you guys have been following along, your environment should be set up. If it's not, you have to wait for it. It's going to take 789 divided by 60. It takes about 13 minutes, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to set up. If you just clicked on it, you gotta have to wait a bit.
Setting up. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have time to do that. I just want to make sure this runs, it gets everything, and that you can see an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if this completed. Okay, turns out we have an error, and I don't know what. In both cases, cannot identify image file. Okay, I guess this link that we gave it isn't good, so we're gonna download it, take this, and do the drag and drop thing. Come here, drop it there, and then we're gonna copy path, come over here, and run that again.
Can I ask something about prompts?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I understood the syntax of it. I'm guessing trending is not necessarily a function, but it's supposed to indicate what style, but is that
Oh, like here,
yeah,
trending on ArtStation. Well, this is so the thing is, these models were trained on internet data, and their captions and a lot of like stuff from ArtStation, which is a legit um, website. The caption trending on ArtStation makes sure it uses some of the most high quality images in its data set. So if it's kind of like extracted the idea of this is what a high quality image looks like, you kind of inject in that idea into it by saying trending on ArtStation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like so it's sort of just giving it a database, like somewhere to look.
It's not looking anywhere. No? Everything is in the model weights, so everything is just inside the neural network, and there's no database anymore. That place is a database where you have combination of data, but stuff that are trending on ArtStation tend to look better than stuff that you might just find on the regular internet at the time they got this data from it. So if you put trending on ArtStation, you can get high quality art influence into your images, but you won't get the same art. So every frame is going to be different. So yeah, this is running, as you can see. Ooh. Yeah.
What was the prompt you gave exactly?
So impressionist oil painting of a beautiful sunset by Monet and Van Gogh. Monet and Van Gogh. Now the reason this doesn't look fully like a Monet or a Van Gogh may have to do with the underlying model. So here we chose Protogen V2.2, and this is a model that's been fine-tuned on extra data, and they probably all had a certain look to them, and kind of like change the results of what you're supposed to get out of the prompts. So I suggest if you want to start, don't start with that. Although it's going to give good results, but it's not going to give you what you want. Maybe try SDV14, which is a good one, or full AEMA, or V1.5. They're all good.
Sorry, could you go back up to the...
Yep.
No. Okay, so that's like a type of model?
Yeah, these are all different models. So these V2 and 568 and 512, these ones don't work with V1 model config, so you would have to use V2 or V2V. And the rest...
But the one you usually use is Protogen, right?
Yeah, Protogen, and this is actually a version 1, a fine-tune of version 1 of Stable Diffusion. So that's why you use V1 inference here, even though it's V2.2. That's just the...
Is there a significant difference between the, like, V1 and V2?
I think you should... No. Like, V1, in my, like, experience alone, has been fantastic, because it's smaller, so it runs faster, it takes less space, it's much more versatile, and in V1.5... afterwards, they cut down some of the data from the dataset because of copyright issues or problems that may arise. So the results you get are actually not as great as V1.4. This is more of a general model. Can do a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we have done 100 frames, which I think is more than enough.
Did you put a second prompt at 10 seconds or not? Like
no, I didn't, but you can. You can totally. You can do 10.
If we don't want to, can we just like delete the line like without?
Yeah. As long as there's a comma, like not a comma, but like you need at least one prompt.
The bracket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we already did this. I think 100 frames is good. It's gonna be like about 10 seconds, maybe like 9 seconds, and we're gonna do 12 frames per second. This is the next cell. After you interrupt this by clicking on this again while it's running. You can come down here and keep all these the same, I think, and just run that. No, skipping video creation. Okay, no. Take this off, and yep. All you need to set is your frames per second, and if you have more than 200 frames, increase that. There you go. Have it.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna download that. Actually, let's upscale and interpolate it. So this is gonna be in my drive. Now I'm done with this. I can disconnect and delete the runtime.
So that you can run the other one.
Yeah. And
did it just upload to the drive like by itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can see when you're over here, you put an output path G drive, and the output path is where your files are gonna go. So over here, I'm just gonna refresh to make sure I have it. It's supposed to go to AI, Stable Diffusion, I guess March, Gen AI Tutorial 1, and there's an MP4 here. I just copy path, paste it, and I hope it works. This is an old notebook, so if it doesn't work, you're gonna have to give me like a day to fix it. It's not mine, but I will do a version and fix the issues, whatever bugs remain. So yeah, this is going frame by frame. Let's see what happens. So where did you guys get to?
I just finished setting up.
Okay, nice.
And I'm like starting to load the other things, and also on Stable Cascade. I'm not really sure how to prompt it. Like that's not really the tab I get when I wait. Can I see? I just use a link that you sent in because I just looked it up, but maybe it's not the right link.
There's a link in Tools.
Yeah, okay. I'll just go through there.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. Yeah.
So you prompt it however you like. Your imagination really is the limit. You should try different things. The thing with Stable Cascade, it has a great, insanely good quality, but because of that, you kind of lose a little bit of creativity there too. So sometimes you have to like force it to be creative. You can also play around with the advanced options, lower the prior guidance scale. I've heard that gets good results. These steps, you can leave them the same, and if you want to increase the height and make it like, for phone size, you can do that, or remove that and increase the width for a TV size, like a landscape mode. Let's see if this has running frames to video. It kept telling me that directory doesn't exist. Oh no, it does. It does. So there is a possibility that for example with PYTTI, I highly recommend running Rife smoothing. It's gonna do a really good job. But if you're using Deforum, you'd probably want to skip it, because you're gonna get weird warping artifacts, and you might see it when I'm gonna do it just now. We'll see if it shows. And so yeah, it upscaled it to I upscaled it 4 times to 2048 by 2048. Okay, now it's running Rife. Yeah. So it failed to run Rife for some reason, but we can still see if it's possible. Oh, that's not it either. It's not it either. Okay. Let's skip Rife and see if it does anything.
Question?
Yeah.
So I got my like prompt from Stable Cascade, and I got the image. I know that when you did it, you like the link didn't work, so you downloaded the image. So I should just like drag it on the like the place where the drive is, and
No,
then
you could do that.
no.
Yeah. You could do that, but let me see, because there's a share. Okay, share failed. Okay, that doesn't work. Yeah, so basically download it and then drag and drop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just in the code, just link the init to the path, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct. So since we have Sam here and David, do you guys have GPU at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I don't.
Huh? Sorry, Sam, I didn't
I
get it.
don't.
You don't. Okay. So I guess this part. Okay. Alright. So I just saw Jade's message. I'm gonna briefly go over how you can run these two notebooks and others locally for David and for anybody else who might be watching from home. The principle is the same. Basically, there's three parts. You create a virtual environment, then you install the requirements, and then you run the collab locally. So there's a connect to a local runtime, and you're going to give it a link, and I'm going to show you exactly how all that happens. Let me start a new folder in GenAI. That's where I'm going to set up everything. GenAI workshop. I'm going to be like code, and let's say pytti local. Okay, so I'm going to right click here and start PowerShell. If you have Python installed in your system, then that's great. If not, download it from Python with pip. So you can kind of download the I think the latest version might work for most of these things. If it doesn't, there's two ways basically to create virtual environments, and the other way will take care of it. So way number one is you run python -m venv, and this basically uses your own local Python, whichever version you've downloaded here. And if you're using a program that's old, so let's say you've downloaded Python 3.12.2, it might not be supported on an older program, so you're going to use conda. And with conda, it goes, actually, I'm not sure about the syntax, but you have to use the Anaconda browser. So you download Anaconda, start with conda, and I'm going to put these links in here. So you download Miniconda. Go to Miniconda. Oops. I'm sorry, this is the documentation. Miniconda download. Yeah, so it has an installer here, basically. And if you're on Windows and Mac or Linux, there's a solution. And then you're going to have a Miniconda Anaconda prompting shell, which then you do the same thing. First you cd into your path. Oops. What happened? Yeah, okay. And then you have to do conda. Actually, I'm not sure about the syntax. Conda creates new local env in current working directory. There. So this would be how you're going to use Anaconda, and this is for, as you can see, it sets a Python version. And the Python version, if it's different for a different program, this will basically allow you to download a fresh install of Python for that program. Now for both of these, I don't think you're going to need it, but if you do, this is your fallback option. But the principle remains the same. This basically creates a venv, and if you use regular Python to create the venv, then you're just going to do venv scripts or script and activate. Maybe it's scripts. Yeah. And that activates the venv. So now if I do pip install matplotlib or numpy, it's actually going to be installed right inside here. So that means nowhere else on your computer is going to be touched. And if you have two different programs that require two different versions of NumPy, you're not going to have a problem with that. So works the same way for Conda, except if you want to activate it, you say Conda. First you have to build the new environment like so, using this Anaconda shell. And it's basically creating a fresh install of Python, same thing. And since the name there is .-env, which is the folder, and when you want to activate it, you do conda activate env, like that. And same thing, literally after that, it's just whatever that runs in this terminal is going to stay in this terminal and is going to stay bounded here, basically in this folder. That's number one, creating the virtual environment. Number two is, so let's do conda activate env. Now it's activated. Next, we're going to install Jupyter Python. So pip install Jupyter Notebook, sorry. Once that's done, and you can do multiple installs on the same line, but I'm going to keep it step by step and not mix it up. Okay, while this is installing, back to the forum and the kit. Okay, so this file has been without Rife, so Rife apparently had a problem, but the file has been saved in content, my drive, AI, animation kit, videos, Gen AI. And if we download that, yep, basically upscale the video, but I should have lowered the frames per second in the outputs there. But basically now it's a massive file that you can basically crop it sideways or vertically if you want in whatever video program you have, or on your phone. Doesn't really matter. So there it is, that's done. That's upscaling. Interpolation needs to be fixed. I'll fix that, and so that you don't have to skip it, and you're gonna see that you can kind of smoothen out the animations with that. Yep, that's installed. So first we did for a local install. First we did a virtual environment. We created a new virtual environment. You can do so either with Anaconda if you want a specific Python version, or the best way to do it, like at first, to see like if things work with that, stick to that, is to run python -m venv, and then you can run venv /scripts/activate, and this is basically what's here. So you're just running this file, or this file, activate.bat, either or, and it activates it. So no big deal there. Next, after we install Jupyter, and we're going to do pip install Jupyter over HTTP over WS, which stands for WebSocket. Once you have that installed, there is a special command which you run. I have it here. I basically have it on my sticky notes, and whenever I want to use it, I just bring up the sticky notes. So once you're in your environment, you've activated it either with Conda or otherwise, and these two things are installed, you just copy paste this, which I'm going to paste here, and you will see that it will give you two addresses. And you're going to take the localhost one. They're the same thing, but this one doesn't work on Google Colab. This one does. You take this one, you copy it, and then say pytti, and you're in your Colab notebook that you've opened. You come to additional connection options, connect to a local runtime, and then you paste it there. And then your Jupyter notebook is going to connect to your own PC, and it's going to use your local resources. So since we're doing locally, we're not going to use Colab, we're not going to mount the drive. Let's check the NVIDIA SMI. So 14 gigabytes of my GPU is gone for some reason. And then we do a install. Basically everything would be the same as you would do remotely, except it's all going to run here inside the folder you made and in which you put the venv. Everything else will run from there. Make sure when you start your PowerShell and you want to start your server like this, you know, you're in the right directory, so that it doesn't install stuff in other places. And to check that you're in the right directory, just look whatever is written here. So yeah, well, this is installing some stuff I already have, and I'm going to show you how I use it after it's installed, because the good thing about local systems is you only need to install them once. And if you use Drive too, you only need to install them once. So the next time you don't even need to run this cell. You just use the model by running this and then running that. Or in this case, we're going to turn off Mount Google Drive, and then the rest is going to stay the same. You can download model from Civitai, and then place it into your local directory, so it will be inside models, for example. It's called so here we have models. No, actually, is it? Yeah, sorry, wrong notebook. Yeah, so in your remote drive, it's going to go over there, but locally we'll just go wherever your server has started. Pretty straightforward. Sorry, server's here. Actually, did I turn it off? No, it's still running. Okay, I think I've covered basically everything I wanted to cover in terms of content. If you have any questions, that would be a great time. If you don't have any questions, just give me a comment or say something.
I mean, I'm still like running my animation, like everything worked out, but it's still, you know, it's just 300 frames out of 1,000.
Okay, you don't need to do 1,000 frames, right? 300
Really?
frames
How
would
do I
be
stop it?
just click on the you know, the play button.
Yeah.
Now
So
now it's the
just-
stop button. So click on
I
the
just
stop.
stop it there?
Yeah, you just stop it in the middle, and then you run the next cell.
Oh.
Run create video from frames. Oh, it has a skip video for run all. Uncheck that so that you don't skip it.
Okay.
And then run the cell.
Okay.
Can I see what you got?
I mean, it's the create video from frames is running.
Okay.
Because I still got like 300, which is okay. Oh, I got it. Nice.
Nice.
I think I forgot to turn off some settings because it's a little bit weird.
Weird how?
Like it's wiggly. I'll just download it.
Do you want to show me? Like you can share
Yeah.
your tab.
Can you see?
Yeah. Yeah. Go down and play it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened.
I mean, it's just a little bit wiggly. So I think there was
okay.
something. But
yeah, those are your translation. That's your translation parameter, which you have to set to 0. But yeah, it looks dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It's the first time it worked. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So how do I download it?
So it's already. Is it in your drive?
It's in my drive.
Okay. So go to content. Yeah.
And then
drive. My drive. AI. Stable diffusion. Yep. Stable fun. And pull the thing to the side, like expand because you won't see the extension that way. You see, go to the edge of that part of the screen. To the right, more to the right. Just follow my voice. A little bit more to the right. You know where the scroll bar? Yeah, pull that. There you go. Now you see that MP4?
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
So you can upscale it with the other notebook if you want, directly through your Colab, and you should have it installed.
The point of upscaling was like to increase the quality, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I mean, I'm good with this. I'll just upload it on the... where should I upload it? Here in the Discord?
Yeah, you can put it in Project Showcase.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
And then put the prompt.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's that. PYTK is still running. Oh no. Don't do that. Okay. So yeah, David, was that clear about the local GPU?
Yeah.
How to run? Okay, cool. Sam, on your end, everything good?
Yeah, I missed the first bit of the tutorial, so
okay.
I may have to go back and retry everything, but yeah.
I could post the recording, but if you have a specific question. So the first part, I just went over basically all the parameters I went over at the second workshop, which was just the Deforum stable diffusion. We just couldn't run it. So basically ignore these stuff. Ignore these stuff. Ignore these 4. Ignore these guys. Strength schedule matters. And then how you're going to move through space. Your animation mode. Your paths, where your models go, where your outputs go, and so on. And if you want to use Google Drive or not. And model checkpoints, basically what diffusion models to use, different qualities, different, they each have their own. What is it?
Which one was the one that you were trying?
I was just doing Protogen v2.2. Protogen is nice, but if you want something specific, I suggest go with 1.4, SDV 1.4. It's really good, but you're going to need more detailed prompting in order to get like the full, quality out of it. So, since y'all are there, let's do a little like 20 minute time frame, within a 20-minute time frame, and make some animations and then share them in Project Showcase.
I just have a question before.
Yeah.
So you said the problem like with the wiggling was like translational probability or something?
Yeah, so translation X. So here, this value had like a function in it.
And I should remove it?
Just remove it and put 0 in between
What about the one that's like 0, 10?
This won't work anyways. I mean, unless you're doing 3D animation, this will work. And 10, I think, is a good value to start with. But if you're doing 2D, this is not going to work. Only these 4 are going to work. So no translation Z and no rotations. You just have a rotation, which is the angle of your frame. So let's do something with an original prompt. Each of us, and then including myself. And then I'm going to put it in Project Showcase. And you guys do so as well. And preferably interpolate it using this upscaling. So if you've already loaded up your Deforum, you should be good to just start experimenting for 20 minutes. If not, you can have like an extra 10 minutes to set it up. And then yeah, we'll reconvene. If you want, we can also do it together. I'm open to hear what you guys think. Or if you'd like.
Yeah, I have a dumb question. Where do I input the image in the?
Okay, not a dumb question. Very good question. This part. So after the prompt, I believe, you come down. There is init settings. So init image means initial image, basically, what image you want to start with. So first you turn on use init. And let's say you make an image with stable cascade. I don't know, a mechanical creature from Dune. This is a square image, actually. And once you've made it, you download it. Waiting for this to be made. After you download it, you just drag and drop it into the files here.
Is there a specific path I have to?
So once you put it in your files, you click over here, and then you have copy path, and then just paste it here.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be your path. And then the mask stuff you can ignore. These conditional settings, whatever they are, you can ignore all of them. They were all written basically to do video interpolation, video input, and these were like so many different tricks combined. Now there's like just another layer of a neural network that you add into it, and it works. And tomorrow I'm going to go over Comfy UI, which will basically tell you how you can do that. Create full-on animations like this example. Basically. And get a lot of consistency if you want to do video to video. Stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna stop the recording, and yeah.